live for Mayor's Update.
Well, welcome everyone. It's fun to be back from in Canada and not having to do the show in the middle of the night from different parts of this world. And we have a fantastic guest with us tonight, Lori Baldwin-Sands, councillor in the city of St. Thomas. But she's here to talk about our health recruitment partnership and how well that's been going in St. Thomas and how we're working towards making St. Thomas a more healthy place by finding enough docs and nurses and other things in our community. So, Lori, last night at council, I'm going to start right off. Last night at council was the largest report I've ever seen from the Health Recruitment Partnership of, I think, one doc who's gone from part-time to full-time, taking on a number of new patients, 3 other docs who have joined us here in St. Thomas or will be shortly joining us here in St. Thomas, and 1 nurse practitioner that is joining us. That's a full night at council for us if we can have that many. But we know that you're doing some new things at Health Recruitment Partnership, and it's moving the needle here in St. Thomas. So share with us certainly what we announced last night and what Health Recruitment Partnership is doing to attract all of these special doctors to come to St. Thomas.
Well, first and foremost, thank you, Grayden, and thank you, Joe, for having me here. A little bit about what happened last night at council, as you were stating, about the doctors that are coming. We also, as you stated, have Dr. Allison Wright, who is going from a part-time position to a full-time position at the Talbot Family Health Organization on Talbot Street. She also works at Southwestern Public Health.
Right.
She is adding 700 patients for a total of 1,150 patients, and that's her goal and objective. Our next recruit is Dr. Catherine McLaughlin, and she is joining the Talbot Family Health Organization. And Dr. Walter Ebimi, and he is going to be starting May the 5th, and he is joining at 19 Elgin Street. His intention is to start with a fee-for-service, and then what his intention is long-term is to move into a FO in that longer term.
Perfect.
The next is Dr. Laura McCracken. She is with the Elmwood Family Health Team, and this is pending ministry approval to join at the Elgin Centre at 417 Wellington Street. And then, of course, we have a nurse practitioner that we have just been recruiting, and she actually came to us and said she is looking to open up and help out with a fee-for-service program. It's a private medical clinic, and it's available at Lisa's Pharmacy on First Ave. And I was a little concerned about having to talk about some of these locations, but when I drove by First Ave today and saw the big sign that's out that she is moving into Lisa's Pharmacy right at First Ave, that was, I think it was permission for me to start sharing that information.
When they've started to share it with big signs, we can talk about it. Right?
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So we're very pleased with what has been happening with health recruitment. But in addition to this, we're anticipating we're going to have more announcements next month.
Fantastic.
Because we know that we are a community that is in need of doctors. We have several doctors in our community that are retiring. We first started this program as the joint St. Thomas and Elgin County Health Recruitment Partnerships. Right. It started in 2007. It was to develop strategies and priorities for recruitment and retention of our doctors in our community. We have awards and incentives, and some of them we started a scholarship program. And I am pleased to say that one of the doctors that I announced tonight is one of our previous scholarship recipients.
That's great because, that takes a number of years for that to happen after we entice them to become a doctor or help them with their training. And then they decide, well, that's a great community. I'm coming back or I'm staying there. And some of them are, of course, from here. So some big changes. Obviously, St. Thomas continues to grow and more docs do continue to retire. That's a given. But we're doing some really special things now to attract more people that are choosing St. Thomas. Some of the reasons why.
Well, thank you for bringing that up. We recently had a symposium where we talked about the things that we do here in the community. Yep. But in addition to what we do, we asked for suggestions from the stakeholders that attended. What other ideas do you have to bring to the table?
Right.
So prior to the symposium, we talked about the scholarship program where we
Yep.
are now giving up to about 10 scholarships per year to a medical student who is from St. Thomas or Elgin County and attending schools. We've adjusted that program over the years because we were finding more and more some of our students were going to international schools.
Right.
And we had them first and foremost only available at Canadian universities in medical school. So we adjusted that and made that accommodation and are seeing more and more of our students choosing medicine as a profession. And that has been wonderful to see as well. So first, that's the scholarship program. Second, we also have the incentive program, which is to help doctors who are either starting a clinic in the city. There is up to $33,000 that is available. So if they're going part-time or if they're going full-time, that is paired correctly to the part-time, full-time. That money is available to help with just about anything a doctor needs to help set up, whether it's the supplies for the physical things that they need in an office or the things that they need to put, whether it's tongue depressors or medical equipment to help train their staff, to help develop their staff. That money is available for their use as long as they're going to commit for a 4-year minimum period of time. And that we make available to doctors, not just in St. Thomas, but across Elgin County. That's called our incentive grant program.
And that makes it more of a turnkey operation. If I'm not mistaken, from what I heard at the symposium, many docs are now looking more for, I'd love to come to your community, but I can't set all this up. I can't do all the hiring. I can't find the equipment. What do you do for me from a turnkey point of view so I can walk into a practice? Well, many of them, of course, are taking over existing practices as a doctor retires. That comes at least with that piece. But
when a doctor is retiring, they also need to upgrade. A new doctor coming in is going to be upgrading a lot of the equipment.
He'll want what he just trained down on in medical school.
Correct. And there's a lot of the new systems that are available that weren't previously available when the retiring docs were setting up practice. So it allows them to do that. One of the things that you talked about is the level of internet that's available here and how wonderful it is. Well, if you can imagine, some of the doctors that are going in are going into some places without internet. So this can be used as an incentive to help them. And it might sound like that's a logical thing, but the strength of the internet really is something that a doctor does need for his record keeping, for his or her record keeping. So that's one of the reasons that we have the incentive. We've also developed a bit of a relationship with informally with our Small Business Enterprise Center. And that is to be able to link some of the doctors to some of those services that you were talking about that they are needing, whether it's the setting up the offices or training staff or providing the service. Also, we had the Chamber of Commerce present, and they came up with some very innovative ideas as well. Staff supporting systems that need to be put into place for a doctor. And that is something that is done. We try to set the doctors up with our local Chamber of Commerce so that they can talk about some of the services that they have. We have some great relationships, and starting from 2007, I do have to bring this up. This was a program that was suggested, and they were the ones that were really a catalyst to making this whole program happen, and that was our Home Builders Association, our St. Thomas and Elgin Business Home Builders Association. They have been a member of the committee since the beginning. We have the current member, Angela DeVries, is an active member, and one of the new things that they have brought is a building incentive program. So whether it's a residential or whether it is an office or whether it is the build to design, they are there to be able to provide some supports at a discount for doctors. And that has been something that has been so wrapped around by our doctors. And one of the things that we would like to see.
Yeah, I'm just sorry. I'm going to pause you right there. Our Facebook stream, it just had a glitch right at the beginning there. So we're just going to end this one and then we're going to start back up.
Okay, we'll do this over. Remember what you said.
Remember exactly what you said. We'll paraphrase it. We'll just, we're going to end.